Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over my saddle setup I have for 2025 and just self-filming in general. I did a video last year on my saddle setup, but I've changed a lot of things since last year, and this year we are going to add in the self-filming aspect. I got a lot of questions last year about the equipment and different things I use, so we're going to be going all over all of that today. So we will jump right into showing you guys how I get up in the tree in the saddle and self-film. Alright guys, so last year I started out with a just cheap saddle I had gotten when I had gotten into saddle hunting, but I upgraded to the tethered Ultra Lock last year. This is by far the best saddle I've used. I've used a couple of them just from borrowing and then the Amazon one I had, but this one has been amazing. It has these two big pockets that come with the saddle, and you can hold a ton of things in here. Really, if you wanted to, you could kind of just only take this out with your bow if you really needed to, but I love this one. So what I'll do is obviously I'll get the saddle on, get it on here, and then once I've got it on, I've already got the straps buckled, but you got two leg straps and you can just tighten them up depending on what kind of equipment you're wearing. Obviously, if you have thicker pants on when it gets late into the season, you will need to loosen these up, but for now we can tighten them up and they just slide right in here. And then I'll get this strap hooked together like this, and then the saddle is on, so you have your bridge and the saddle's ready to go. So you've got these two big pockets, and then in here on this side I'll keep my back strap that I use when I'm up in the trees to keep it more comfortable. And then I've got a rope for my bow and backpack when I need it. Comes really in handy. And then you've got your lineman's belt, or sorry, this is my tether. And on this side, I just keep my lineman's belt in this pocket, and my, I think it's the HYS strap for my bow when I'm saddle hunting. And then you've got your lineman's belt here. And then I'll also carry with me a little handsaw. It's really important when you're saddle hunting just to have a handsaw. Just sometimes there's not going to be a perfect tree, so you always need to kind of cut something down. But first, what I'll do, you've got your lineman's belt, and then I've got the tethered Predator XL platform, and then I've only got two sticks out here just for the purpose of this video, but these are the tethered one sticks with the wraps on them, and then I've got some paracord as little aider steps. So what I'll do is on the back here, you can see I've got a little carabiner, and what I'll do is I'll hook this onto here with the carabiner, and that way that's there, readily accessible there for me. And then after that, get your lineman's rope, and I'll just kind of stow it away for now. And then so what I'll do is I'll take my sticks, and you can kind of come in on this. I'll take my sticks, and then you can see the aiders I've got here that will allow me to get an extra, what's that, probably 1.5 feet or so. So you just take your first stick and you place it about here, right, so it's comfortable to step in. Sometimes if the tree's a little too big, it's easier just to throw the stick around and then grab it. It's just easier to do it that way. And you just make a little cross in the indentation there, and then you're good to go. And you can just kind of pull down on it, and once you step on it, it'll really dig into the tree right there. So that's all you do for the first stick, and then once you're ready to go up, is I'll take this little bow rope here. So obviously if you already have your sticks and platform ready to go, you don't have to do this part. I usually still do it with my bow just because I don't want to carry the bow up there. I'll just pull it up. You can take this rope out like this, and then I'll just connect it to my backpack or bow, whichever one I'm not taking up And then I'll just set it off to the left over here where I have the rope already ready to go. So once you got everything hooked up, just swing this around the tree. And you're good to start climbing. So loosen this up. Oh, I forgot. I'll take this, and what I'll do is I'll hook it to the carabiner side over here. So I'll just hook it up right here. And then once that's hooked in, you're good to start climbing. So we'll climb up the first stick here. I'll climb up like this. And once you get up here, then you can start putting up your next sticks. So like I said, I only brought 2 sticks out here just for the purpose of this video. I don't need to go all the way up the tree. But I'll take out my stick, put it on the exact same way. I'll just show you how. This part is pretty much the same for every stick. You might have to adjust left and right depending on the branches you have in the way or whatever the case may be, but this part is pretty easy once you get going. So this tree is still kind of big as well, so what I'll do is I'll throw this around. And once I got this, so once I got it up, we got the thing, you just do the same cross method here with the sticks again. And then what I'll do is I'll tie these off in a little hitch knot to the side over here, just to keep the excess out of the way. So it'll stay out to the side like that. Won't be swinging or anything. And then this is kind of low, but you get the purpose of it, just going up. So let's just assume I'm kind of at the top here. So I'll climb up one more stick or level. And then once you get up, what I'll do is I'll take this edge here. And the higher you go, obviously the skinnier the tree will get. So you just want to tighten yourself to the tree as you go up. So if I'm at the top now, just for purpose of the video, what I'll do is I'll take the platform off like I normally would. And then you'll put your platform in. So just unhook it here. And then I always like to have this buckle towards me so I'm not having to reach around and pull it that way. So if I was on this side, I would flip it to the other side or vice versa, but for this, we'll do it this way. So I'll set it up with it in the middle of me. And then once you get the strap, pull this down a little, just connect it there. Then I'll fold it back up. And then once I've got it connected, then I'll turn it. And once you get it at the height you want, you just cinch it down. And then I'll kind of push down on it just to let it dig in there. And then just fold it out and let it dig into the tree, just like that. And then you're ready to step onto it. You never really want to put it directly over the stick, just because it makes it a lot harder, I think, just to get up into the platform. And it can kind of be unsafe, but obviously to each their own. So I always put it off to the side just like this, and then you're ready to get up into it. So I'm going to show you how I would come down now. And then I'll show you the self-filming aspect of it down closer to the ground. So let's say you're done hunting and you are ready to come down. So you pack everything up, put it in your backpack. What I would do is I would then lower down my backpack and bow, and then I'll just do everything in reverse really. So I'll just get this off, loosen it up a bit, take this loop, get it down, and then wrap everything up nice and neat, just so this doesn't rattle too much or whatever the case may be. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll clip it on to the back of me here, and then just like that, then you just do everything in reverse. So I'll come down one step here and then start taking the sticks off. When I'm at the top, I'll clip them on back onto my saddle, and that way I don't have to drop them. But when I'm this low, usually I'll do this like this. I'll just take the string and lower it down on the ground and just leave it, and then I'll clean everything up when I'm down at the bottom. So you just come down, find your aider. This can sometimes be the tricky part here, is making sure you get your foot and the aider, and then you just come down to the ground just like that. And then you're off. So I'll unconnect this, store this back in the compartment, just like this, and then take the stick off. And then you're good to pack up and get out of here. So now I'll show you guys the self-filming aspect, what I would do when I get up in the tree and I'm on the platform and ready to go. All right guys, so we got the platform at the bottom of the tree here. So we'll say you're done putting all your sticks on, you're at the top and you're ready to get up onto your platform. So I'll step up onto the platform like this, and then I'll tighten this up so I'm closer up to the tree, just like this. So first thing I'll do is I'll get my strap out, and I'll wrap this around the tree. I'm a right-handed, so I like having my bow on the left side. So I'll make sure that this bow hook is on the left side. So I'll take this and wrap it around. And I haven't used this since last year. You might have to adjust this based on what tree you're in. So like obviously this is way off for this specific tree. So what you might have to do is just take this out of the strap it's in. Let's just set it right here for now. So once you've got it together and it's tight, I'll leave that hanging, and I'll take this carabiner off like this, and I'll set the carabiner on here, and I'll use that as a clip for my backpack, and I'll leave my backpack hanging in front of me. So then I'll take this bow hook and get it ready on the other side over here, on my left side. And so now I'll have my bow ready to be hooked on right here. It's a little low as well. I'll just adjust this, get this up higher. So you want it decently high. And then tighten it up. That's perfect right there. Take this excess strap, and I'll even lower this hook down a little bit just so my bag will be lower. So then once I have this set, I'll take my tether out. And once I've got my tether out, all you gotta do is wrap it around the tree. Once you've wrapped it around the tree, put it through the loop. And I put it about nose high. And I like having it over this strap so it helps just with extra security of that strap so it's not flying around too much. I mean, it still will, but so I hook this up. And now I'm strapped in with both. So you can just go ahead and take off your lineman's rope at this point, just because it'll make it easier when you're getting your bow and bag up. You don't want too many lines out everywhere. So I'll stow that away, and then you'll be done with that until you're ready to leave. And then now you're in the tree and you're technically ready to hunt. But so now what I'll do is I'll pull my bag up, bag and bow. Obviously I didn't bring my bow out here, but I would pull this up like this, stow that in there for now, and that's where I'll use this carabiner and hook my bag up so my bag's right in front of me and I have everything I need. So in my top compartment here, I've got my GoPro I set up so I can have a camera on me as well. I'll usually put that on my right side here, and I'll just kind of screw it in. I'll see if I can't get it put in here real quick. I got this off Amazon, I think for like 20-30 bucks. So these are pretty cheap, and this one works perfectly. Even if you have a nicer camera you use for your face camera, it still has a screw in, you can still use it. So I'll leave it like that, and then put the GoPro on. And then the GoPro is ready to go, and you can adjust it how you need it. And then I upgraded last year to my camera arm. I got a 4th Arrow camera arm. I did have just a starter one off Amazon, but it broke, so I went ahead and spent the money and got a 4th Arrow one, and I love this one so far. So what you do with this is I put it underneath the bag or underneath the strap. I'll just kind of sit in like this. And then you'll bring the strap around to the other side. And then tighten it down. And it'll cinch into the tree like that. So this is just your base here. And if you want to come in on this, this has this little knob here. You'll loosen this up, and it's got a little leveler, and you'll just level it out to where it's level, and you'll tighten it back up. So then once I have the base on, I'll go ahead and get out the arm. I just have the arm in the bottom of my bag, and then all this does is this just slides right on top, and then my camera's ready to go. This is about perfect. Maybe I'd like to have it a little lower, but you can always adjust it if you need. And then obviously I don't have the camera, I only have the one camera we're using for this. So then all I would do is just set the camera on here, and then because I'm right-handed, so I prefer to shoot this way, so all I'll do is swing this to the other side, just like this. And then I'll have it right here, and I can film on this side and place it where I need, and then shoot this way. And trying to think, that's about it for the filming part. And then whenever obviously the buck or the deer I'm coming out that I'm going to shoot, I get this camera going, and adjust how I need. And if I need to come this side, I can easily switch to this side, just like this. So I love this camera arm, and I mean it can go as far around as you need, this 4th Arrow camera arm. And I believe this is the one that's specifically made for self-filming. So it's a great camera arm. And that about does it for my my self-filming. It's the same with getting the steps and everything up. All you got to do now is just do everything in reverse. So I typically do most important to, or least important to most important, just in case for somehow as I'm packing up and ready to come out, the buck or a deer that I'm planning on shooting happens to walk out. So I'll keep the main camera on, and I'll start with the GoPro, just because worst comes to worst, at least I have the main camera to film. So I'll start with the GoPro and get the GoPro away. And I'll pack this up, just like this. And then at this point, obviously you'd have to kind of just bite the bullet and get the camera out of here. So you get the camera off, put the camera in the bag, take the arm off, put it up, and then I'll come in, unhook this, roll this up, and just try and keep it nice and neat in the bag, just so nothing's tangled up when you're up in the stand trying to get it ready. That's the worst, is when you're in a time crunch, or even if you're not, just trying to get stuff untangled in the stand just is never fun. And then I'll take that off. I'll lower my bow down, and once I lower my bow down, I'll get my backpack off here, put my backpack on, and then I'll start undoing this part. I'll put this back on, the little loop here, so I have this ready to take everything off. And then I'll tighten this up just so I'm close to the tree, and get this strap off here. And once this is off, I'll just kind of roll this up. Take out your lineman's rope. And once you got your lineman's rope out, this is where it basically becomes what I was talking about in the first part of the video. Now you're just going to put your lineman's rope back around. Get this hooked up. Once you've got your lineman's rope hooked up, then you're ready to take your tether off. Once your tether is undone, I'll stow this away in my bag in this left pocket here. Zip it up. And then you're ready to start your descent. So from here, obviously, I would come down onto the sticks, get the platform off, and go from there. So that's about it for the self-filming aspect of how I film my hunts. All right, guys, so that does it for the saddle hunting for 2025 and my self-filming. This is by far the fastest and quickest setup that I've had. Let me know in the comments what you guys run. I'd love to see different opinions and just try new things out. I'm always open to new ideas if you guys have any easier ways, or if you guys can take anything that I've done in the video and help your saddle setup out. So this weekend is opening weekend here in North Carolina, and we've already got one sit. I think I'm gonna try and get out back here tonight and have another sit. So thank you guys for watching. We got a lot of fun hunting videos coming up, so I'm excited. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.